Welcome back. In this session, we are going to look at how to identify duplicate data within a file. So what I have done already is I've created a script under Discovery and called that as 10_check for duplicates. And in this script, we are going to look for duplicates within the taxi zone file. We've already explored the taxi zone file, if you remember, and we got the 1_explore taxi zone. What I'm going to do is go there and get the select statement so we can save a bit of time. And I'm going to get the one where we did the fixes for the column names, if you remember, and that's this one. So let's copy the select statement and then we can work on that, and let's run this without any changes first so we can look at the data. And as you can see, we've got the location ID, borough zone, and service zone, and the location ID is the primary key here. But the other three will have more than one record. For example, they burrow within a borough, you can have multiple locations and things like that. So what we want to do is to ensure that there are no duplicate records for the location ID. The way you normally do that in SQL is you do a count of location ID, each of the location IDs, and then you do a filter to say, give me all the records, which you've got a count, which is more than one. So that means there is duplicates on that key. I'll tell you how to do that. The first thing you do is to pick the location ID and put it on the select statement. And then, as I said, you're going to do a count, and I'm going to call this one as number of records. And whenever you use an aggregate function like this, you'll have to combine that with a group by clause. So I'm going to put the group by here, and the group by is based on the location ID. Before I run this, I'm going to show you some of the help files so it'll be easier for you. So let's switch to the Microsoft documentation, and this page gives you the T-SQL reference. So as you can see here for the Synapse Analytics, this is the transect single article reference. And within that you can see all the data types and the functions and everything. For example, if you wanted to look at the count function, that's what I've opened up here. So you go to aggregate, and then if you click on count, that's going to tell you how to use the count function. So for example, you can do a count by default, it's all, but you can do a distinct on the count as well, and you can do a start out column names and things like that. And it does give you some examples as well. So if you look here, we got examples here that be furthermore actually. So I let you read this, this is quite useful. So whenever you get stuck of anywhere you want something, just come here, look for the help, and then you'll be able to do what you need to do. And I'll include this link in the course material. But I just wanted to quickly show you where to look for information about aggregate functions and data types and things like that. Let's switch back to the Synapse Studio and let's run this query first, and it should give us the location ID and that number of records for each of the location IDs. And you can see here it's listed the location IDs and the number of records, and each one is showing us a number of records, this one. But we want to find ones where there is more than one location ID because they are the duplicate records. So if in order to do that, you have the having class that you do having, and then you can say count one, for example, greater than one. So when you do that, it's going to list only the location IDs. That is more than one record, say, around this one. It should give us the location. It is where there is more than one record. In this example, as you can see, there are no duplicates in our data and the data is clean. That's why you've got no data being returned. But if you had any duplicates, you will see them. Here, let me show you the same thing on borough, for example, because we know ourselves that there are duplicates on borough, or he is genuine duplicates. So when I just change that to borough, for example, from location ID and run this, you're going to see a lot of records back. So each of the borough has got a number of locations. That's why, for example, Queens has got 69 records there. But similarly, if location ID had duplicates as well, you're going to see this. And I can say that. I know that. So that means our data is really good. It's clean. There are no duplicates within the data. Hope you've understood how to identify duplicates within the file. Just to summarize, the first step is to identify the primary key within the file. In our case, it was the location ID, and then you look for the counts of records where the count is greater than 1. If you identify your primary key incorrectly, for example, if you identified that borough, then you're going to think there are duplicates, but there are no duplicates in this data. So remember these two steps and you'll be able to identify duplicates within the data.